Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the Left or Right podcast. We are back with new and interesting topics, and the entire crew is actually here right now, which is nice. So, yeah, how's everyone doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Nice.
I'm doing great.
I'm doing good.
All right. So let's start off with a very kind of controversial topic recently. In the country of Cuba, there have been a ton of protests, and the question is, what are those protests about? Is it about their freedom from their horrible government, or is it about that they don't have enough vaccines or whatnot? What do you guys think?
I guess I'll go first. I think it's about their government, which since I think the Cuban Revolution, where they became communist, has really been, oppressing them and, making their lives basically a living hell. And, you have millions, I think millions. You have a bunch of people every year trying to illegally immigrate like through the oceans to Florida to escape that country and the way they do things over there. So I think that's what the Cuban freedom protests are about.
I mean, I definitely think it's freedom from their government. I mean, they have one of the worst governments in the whole world. I mean, their government has oppressed them, and it's just done a horrible job taking care of their own people. I mean, their people are starving, they're hungry. They don't have access to medical at all. Their people are getting sick, they're dying in the streets. I mean, it's just an awful situation over there, especially with COVID. The country was hit very hard. It's a very poor country, and it's mostly to blame on their government. I mean, their leader actually tried to blame the American people, or not the American people, but the American government for all of our sanctions on them. But I don't see how the Americans sanctioning Cuba, I don't see how that damages their economy, because they can just trade with other countries. No, they really just have an awful government, and it's caused the people a lot of pain and suffering. And I think the people are finally getting fed up with it. They're finally tired, and they're finally actually trying to overthrow it, which I think is kind of nice.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. I mean, it just goes to show that communism is a failed system, and the people are getting tired of it, and they want change. I mean, I fully support them. I think we should be supporting them too.
I think it is time to invade Cuba. I'm just kidding. I'm not imperialist. Basically, what's the best part about this is that the Biden administration, they say that they don't like communism with what's happening right now. Jen Psaki in a press conference said that communist is a failed ideology, which is the most base thing I think she's ever said.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing really that based comes out of her mouth most of the time. But right there, that was pretty nice when she said communism was a failed ideology, and I am happy about that. That's the best part. Simon, what do you have to say?
Well, the Cuban protests are disappointing, but I don't think you can blame all of this on communism. I don't know how much of it you can, and some of it's probably because of the economy, because the U.S. put sanctions on it, travel bans on it, and you can't just trade with other countries. That's not really how it works, because the U.S. has a lot of money to spend on this in trading, and not every country does.
Okay, but for example, most of our cars come out of China, so I don't see why Cuba would be complaining about not being able to get cars. They're complaining about not being able to just get basic stuff. Or the Cuban government, sorry, not Cuba itself, but the Cuban government's complaining that the U.S. has sanctioned them and that they can't get a lot of stuff. When, to be honest, the U.S. isn't manufacturing a whole lot of things nowadays. Most of the material and most of the things that Cuba's complaining about not having are being manufactured in other places throughout the world. Now, the U.S. is sanctioning Cuba, saying that they will not trade with Cuba, but I don't see China sanctioning Cuba. I don't see Russia sanctioning Cuba. I don't see a lot of countries in Europe sanctioning Cuba. I only see the U.S. sanctioning Cuba. So I don't understand how it's right for Cuba to blame their problems on the U.S.
All of Cuba's cars, or most of Cuba's cars, are from made in the U.S. 1960s.
Yes, I know, and it's Cuba's fault that they won't trade with China or anyone else to get new cars.
Maybe they can't afford to trade with other countries.
And why is that? I mean, they obviously make a lot of money off sugar. I mean, that is one of their main exports. Where's that money going?
All right. Let's just move on from what's happening, and let's just slide right into something else that does involve Cuba. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, told refugees from Cuba and Haiti to not come to America illegally. What are your thoughts?
I think it's hypocritical because on the campaign trail, Democrats were like, "Oh yes, open borders, this works. Let all them come in," and now they're saying to Cubans and I think it's pronounced Haitians. I think.
Yeah, Haitians.
Telling them not to come, and I don't know if anybody else thinks this, but I think a reason why they're actually telling them to not come in is because if you look at it, Cubans tend to vote more Republican compared to any other group of Latin Americans because of what's going on. The radicalized part of the Democratic Party, which is leaning towards socialism, and they have communism in their country, so they wouldn't want that to be in this new country that they're going to. So they're escaping, their old country to go to this country, and they're going to vote for the people who are against the stuff that happens in their own country.
Austin, I completely agree with you. I think that you are very much correct.
I mean, yeah, there's really nothing to disagree with there. It is completely hypocritical, what Mr. Mayorkas said, and maybe we should just, if with that logic, don't let anyone else cross over the border illegally. Just stop illegal immigration. Try your best to control it.
You can't just stop illegal immigration.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, you can't just pick and choose who you want as illegal immigrants. I mean, that's very stupid. I mean, when it comes to Central America and Mexico, I mean, the Democrats are all like, "Yeah, let them in." We're completely fine with them coming in. But then when it comes to Cuba and Haiti, they don't want it whatsoever, and I think that's very hypocritical, and I think that's very wrong. It's either you don't allow anyone or you allow everyone.
Joel, what do you have to say?
I mean, I agree with y'all too. I mean, I think we should be helping them, getting them here in our country. I mean, if we want to have that message of it, we're the land of the free, we gotta, at least help them out with what's going on in their country. I don't think interfering with, like, by military, but I think we should be allowing the refugees to come over here.
Oh, Zane, before we move on to the next topic, can we also bring up the fact that a lot of these Cubans are protesting with the American flag, which is similar to how the Chinese protested when they want freedom?
Yeah, and like Hong Kong and stuff.
I do think that's something to be noted. I mean, it just goes to show
Yeah.
that around the world, the American flag is seen as a symbol of freedom, a symbol of what's right. And looking in America, people hate the American flag for some reason.
Yeah, no, that's complete. That's something that we should have talked about, and I should have mentioned that. I'm very sorry. Yeah, people protesting with the American flag in Cuba is a sign that we are an amazing country that people strive to be in because we are so great.
Mm-hmm.
People are these illegal immigrants, let's just say, are leaving their countries to come to America because we are the land of the free, And it's great to see people protesting with the American flag, in a good way instead of just burning it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe one reason why we're not allowing these troops in is maybe because we have a travel ban there established for President Trump.
There's a travel ban to Cuba.
I thought that was to China.
Yeah, I thought they travel banned China.
There's no travel ban on Cuba. We have sanctions on them for no trading, but there's no travel ban.
And there's embargoes on Cuba too.
Yeah, those are the sanctions. But there's not exactly a travel ban.
Yeah, there isn't a travel ban.
I mean, I wouldn't go to Cuba either way, but yeah.
You wouldn't go to Cuba to do some reporting on what's happening, Ethan?
No.
Because I just booked my plane ticket. We're going. I'm just kidding.
I mean, did you see that there was one reporter who actually went to Cuba? He got a busted face from the security guards at the Capitol.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're not going. We're not going. I changed my mind.
That happened recently. He went to go report on the protests and got tangled up with security, and they busted his face.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually a shocker.
Yeah.
Well, it's not actually that much of a shocker. I take that back, but
I don't know what he was doing. I mean, all the article said was that he went there to report on the protests, and that they ended up beating him or punching him in the face.
That is messed up. That's actually
it didn't say if they provoked him, or it didn't say if he provoked the security or not. He probably did though.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic. So, there's this choir in San Francisco filled with a ton of gay men, and they recently they had this song, and one of the lyrics that was constantly repeated during that song was, "We are coming for your children." What do you guys think?
I'll go first. I think the whole song was pretty evil all around. I mean, the fact that it just keeps saying over and over again. I mean, I watched the whole song. It's pretty bad. I mean, they just keep saying, "Oh, we're going to convert your children. You think your children are safe? Think again." And I mean, the song starts off with them saying, "Oh, the one time you're right, the gay agenda. We're coming for your children." It's pretty bad. It's really bad. I mean, it literally says they're going to convert your children. You can do whatever you want to try and protect your kids from us, but we will make your children tolerant. We will make your children accepting. I mean, that's not exactly something you should go around saying. That's something pretty bad. I don't think that's something that we should tolerate as a society. I mean, it's very bad. I mean, the fact that they say we're going to convert all your children stuff is just, it's not being very tolerant in the first place. I mean, how do you know that someone wants to be straight? I mean, you're not being tolerant of people who want to be straight. I mean, you're saying that, oh, we need to make everyone gay. I mean, that's not being very accepting, is it now?
Not really.
And when you really think about it, these are the same people who point at Christianity and say, "Oh, that is what's the word? Indoctrination. That's indoctrinating."
Or you're
children.
Forcing your religion on us.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and then they go out, and then they go out and they do this stuff, which is basically the same thing. But since they're gay, it's cool. It's accepted.
Yeah. Joel, what do you have to say?
I mean, it was kind of creepy. To be honest with you, it was really dark, and I think the overall intention was to be a joke, but they went way too dark. So, I mean, they got the kind of not the outcome they were seeking.
I thought jokes were supposed to be kind of funny. That wasn't that funny.
They said it was a parody, and they said it was a satire. I mean, what exactly were they parodying? I don't even know how to say the word parroting. parody. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. I mean, they said it
Parody.
was supposed to be a parody of something. I don't exactly see how that's a parody of anything. I
It's
mean,
not
it
like they're
wasn't funny. It
singing.
wasn't taken as a joke.
They're not singing to the beat of "Roar" by Katy Perry, so it's like, how is that a
Yeah, it wasn't a
parody?
parody of anything.
Whatever. Simon, what do you have to say?
I do think it was a joke, but the radical right likes to blow everything out of proportion. And there's also a word for this. It's called cancel culture. And I know Fox News has gone after this quite a bit lately, cancel culture, and yet they decide, and I bet Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and all these guys are going to be going on about how they hate this. Even though they're the ones who rail against cancel culture, because we're canceling Dr. Seuss, or we're canceling every other thing, and Jemima, and now they're canceling this. So they just like to cancel. So they're really hypocritical.
But it's not canceling them. It's just calling it out on how stupid it is to say we're coming for your children.
I mean, it is dark. There's nothing. I mean, it's dark. It's.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a joke. It's really dark.
Also, they
nothing.
didn't say it was a
pointing at the
joke till they
obvious.
started to receive backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Like when it was when they posted it, they didn't say, "Oh, this is a joke. Oh, this is meant to be satire." It wasn't until they started getting a bunch of hate that they're like, "Oh, guys, it was just a joke. It was just a parody. It's not meant to be taken serious." It doesn't seem like it was originally intended as a joke.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, it's really dark. I mean, Joel, you got that completely correct. The way the guys were saying that, they were looking into the camera and tilting their head like, "We're coming for your children." It was like it was some Five Nights at Freddy's stuff.
Yeah.
It really was very creepy.
And I don't know. Just saying that the radical right is blowing it out of control. I mean, I think that both sides are saying this is dark. It's not just the radical right. I mean, I'm saying this is dark, and I'm on the left. So, I mean, calm down.
And it's not like, let's say, for example, Christians like said that in the past. This is something that's kind of just overall scary to think about, that they're doing this, because kids are learning this at a young age, and then they're going to think, oh, this is acceptable in society, and I mean, you could be whoever you want to be, but if somebody truly likes girls and then they get, let's say, what's the word for this, and they just think, oh, being gay is the right way, that's not right. It's really not right. I mean, if you're gay, good for you. I couldn't really care that much. Just don't indoctrinate people saying you need to be gay. And that's how I'm going to end this off. Anything else? Any other comments?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to Los Angeles County and just California overall as a state. So this week, Los Angeles County mandated masks to be worn indoors, even if you have a vaccine. And also, if you don't wear a mask, you are not going to go to school. What do you guys think about this?
Completely ridiculous.
Why do you think that?
I agree with Simon. I think it's very stupid. I mean, especially if you're vaccinated. Like, if you're vaccinated, you're already protected against it. Yet they're saying, "Oh no, we need to keep doing our best to protect people against it." But it's like, really, what are you protecting against anymore? If you're already vaccinated, that's like the highest level of protection you can get. I mean, what exactly should you be worried about at that point? I mean, even if you're not vaccinated, most of the country has already stopped wearing the masks. There's really no point in it. It's just California trying to do their best to be different, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really just stupid. I mean, there's no point to it, especially the fact that they're going to stop you from going to school. I mean, they're really going to end your education just so that you can protect people from a virus that's really not that big of a deal anymore. I mean, it's already swept through the entire country. I don't think it's going to be a problem for much longer.
I agree.
Joel, what do you have to say?
I mean, I agree too. I mean, but I don't see the overall picture of why they're doing it, but I know because of the whole Delta variant, rising and thing. I do think there's precautions we can take because we've learned from the last time what happened. There's a couple precautions we can take, but as far as not allowing someone to get education because they won't wear a mask that's overall stupid. But there's precautions we can take, and I don't think that's one of them.
And I also don't think there's a point of forcing little kids to wear a mask because first off, most little kids probably wouldn't even wear the mask because they don't like things on their in front of their face. And
Yeah.
also, those kids aren't going to spread that virus to anybody. And if not, they're not going to get sick because of the virus either. And there are also people, let's just say teenagers that are vaccinated that can go to school. Why do they have to wear a mask if they're vaccinated? It makes no sense. And, California just likes to be radical and likes to be trendy, starting trends that nobody really follows, And I think it's one of the main reasons that Gavin Newsom is facing recall. And I don't think that this is going to help him that much either with that effort, forcing kids to wear masks at school. People are over this. People are over the virus. Let's just move on with our lives. Is that it?
I'm pro. If you're not vaccinated, you should be wearing that mask still, and that's one way to look at things, because the demographic with the lowest vaccination is the people who consider themselves far right conservatives, and they should still be wearing your mask. You should have to provide proof of vaccine at the door.
You realize it's actually illegal to ask for someone's medical information. So technically, you should not have to provide proof of vaccination. I mean, it is actually illegal. That's why, like, if you go to a supermarket and they say they want proof of your vaccination, you don't have to give it to them.
And
it's legal for them.
Also, I don't think that people are going to stand in front of stores saying, "Can I see your vaccine card to prove that you're vaccinated?" Most people just don't care that much. I mean, if people are wearing masks, so be it. You shouldn't force people who don't want to wear masks to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know for a fact Nevada has a law for privacy.
And I'm from Nevada. Ethan's from Nevada. Let's see.
Texas just made it illegal for businesses to mandate masks too a while back.
Austin, what about in Arkansas?
I'm sorry. What was the question? I kind of zoned out.
Like, what is it on like showing proof of vaccination laws in Arkansas?
Well, me personally, I haven't really. I'm not vaccinated. I don't go around wearing a mask. They've never asked for it. I've never gone into like a restaurant or like a business or whatever, and they ask, "Hey, you have your vaccination card?"
Yeah, that's the same with me too. Like today, let's just say I went to buy a laptop for school, and we went to Best Buy, walked in, I didn't wear a mask. Nobody asked me for my vaccine card, and we just went along our day, So, it feels like with the vaccine cards, it's more like government. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Yeah. So does anyone else have anything else to say?
A poll shows that 57% of people back in May said that they would think that proof of vaccine should be shown at sporting events.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Just because that people think that vaccination card should be proof to go to a sporting event doesn't mean that it's going to be enforced. It doesn't mean it's going to be enforced. And also, if you're not vaccinated, why shouldn't you be allowed to go to a sporting event?
Because you could spread the virus.
But why not wear a mask?
You really think people are going to wear masks?
Well, why not wear a mask? If you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. I don't find the big deal. You know, just because people think that it should be enforced doesn't mean it will be enforced. And where was that poll taken? Like, what state? Where? Was it just taken from all over the United States?
I don't remember voting in it.
I mean, they're probably not going to ask our age demographic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was the age demographic of the poll too? That could actually be a huge effect on it too.
Probably just millennials.
Probably millennials. Alrighty then. Well, I think that's our sign to move on to the next topic. Unless, all right. So Olivia Rodrigo this week went to the White House to promote youth vaccination. What do you guys think about this?
You go.
Okay. I mean, this might sound jokey, but like, I think the only people who like really listen will be the people who like listen to her music. So, 14-year-old girls.
Hey, no, don't cut out me. Don't cut out me. I listen to her music and I love Olivia Rodrigo. Hey, if you're listening, hi. Go ahead.
That's all I was going to say. You can leave it.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't really have much effect on me. I mean, yeah, you're right. The only people who are really going to pay attention to this are the people who are fans of her. Because, like, for example, I've never heard of her outside of Zayn talking about her 24/7.
Oh, that is no way. There's no
So,
way.
like,
you have used
Mark. Did
the only time I've heard about her is from that driver's license song.
Not
So
listening.
yeah, I don't think it has really any impact on me. I don't think it's going to have an impact on a lot of people. I definitely do think it will reach some kids, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to really have a major effect on a lot of the kids it's going to reach. I mean, yeah, there's definitely going to be some people who are going to see this and be like, okay, well, if she can get vaccinated, then I'm going to get vaccinated. But I think the majority of people are just going to look at this and be like, okay. So I think the majority of people are just really going to blow it off. I mean, we've seen celebrities do similar stuff to this. Sometimes it has a really big impact. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't think this one's going to have a major impact or anything.
Okay, and also it's not going to affect her fans because it doesn't affect me, and I'm her fan. So there you go, debunked.
We should specify female fans then.
Okay, that changes the entire demographic. But you know, what I don't understand is, you know, the White House invites her over, you know, because she's definitely Dr. Rodrigo. You know, we should totally listen to her. She's a great doctor.
PhD.
She has, PhD. She has a medical degree. You know, she's very experienced. She's totally not even the age to go to college either.
She went to Harvard.
She went to Harvard, and you know, we should definitely listen to everything she says. I think we should do that. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I really don't have a problem with it because we've seen celebrities do a lot of similar stuff to this.
I know, but here's the thing:
talking like completely outside of their field of work.
Well, when Joe Rogan said that something about the vaccine, I don't know what he said. People are like, "Don't listen to him. He's not a medical expert." You know, yada yada yada.
Oh,
Olivia Rodrigo is the most medicalist expertist of all.
Facts.
I don't know why she hasn't had Dr. Fauci's job yet. You know, maybe she should star on Grey's Anatomy. I think she'd fit well on that show. That's literally all I can think about this. I seriously think this is such a big joke.
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to help people get vaccinated? Sure. But should you really listen to her? No.
It's kind of like Billie Eilish at the DNC last year.
Exactly.
I remember that.
What does anyone else have to say about this?
Joel, Simon?
Yeah, I don't have any.
If we're attacking Billie Eilish at the DNC, I want to remind you that Republicans wanted Tom Brady to speak at the DNC or RNC.
Did Tom Brady speak at the RNC?
Did
I
he?
don't remember
I don't
seeing
remember
Tom
that.
Brady speak at the RNC.
No,
No.
he was asked to though.
In 2016.
But no, I mean that is a good point, Simon.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Hold up. Wait a minute. Before
No,
I
that
say
actually
that,
is
I
a
need
good
to
point. I
no,
agree with
but
you
I
there.
have a rebuttal, but I want to see if it's true.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Never mind, my math is wrong. I take that back. What I was gonna say. But yeah, it's a good point. But Tom Brady didn't speak at the RNC.
He was asked to, but turned
He
it
was
down.
Yeah,
asked
for
to,
like
but turned
for
it
the
down.
2016 one.
For 2016.
Before he was based.
But what?
Wait, what was he asked to speak on?
I don't know. Why would
No,
he
because
be asked to speak at the RNC anyways? Why would anyone listen to him?
No, but like that plays a huge part because like Olivia Rodrigo, she's a singer and actor being asked to speak on vaccination, which is clearly not her field of work. Billie Eilish, she was asked to speak on, yeah, what did she speak on again?
How Donald Trump sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see her being a politician, but so it depends on what Tom Brady was asked to speak on. But yeah, at the same time, professional sports players or singers and songwriters and actors, they kind of should not make a bunch of comments about stuff that they don't really relate to exactly.
Well, you know,
And
I
that,
feel like they should be allowed to express their political opinion, but speaking at the DNC, the RNC, and then going to the White House to a press room where you're saying get vaccinated, I mean, why?
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I
They're
have no
not
problems with them
professionals.
expressing their opinions, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
not professionals, and they should not be speaking in a professional way, acting as if they are professionals.
But let's stroll for this. What do you guys think about Rodrigo speaking at the White House, Joel?
I mean, I really don't care. I think that it doesn't bring me any attention to it. I don't care. I already got my thoughts. I really don't care.
Simon, what about you?
I think he's googling
I don't
something.
have much to say on this one right now.
I just heard nothing to say, so I'm just gonna assume that's it, and we're gonna move on. So the House Republican part, the Republican House members who are running for office in 2022, smashed fundraising records, and they are obliterating Democrats when it comes to fundraising money for their campaigns. What do you guys think about that?
I think this goes to show that the House is probably going to flip. I mean,
Mhm.
this is really an obvious signal that it's going to flip. I think everyone on both sides of the aisle can admit that it's going to flip. Because, I mean, when you see administrations, you can see that people don't want one party over control of the entire government. They want some kind of, checks and balances between the government, and this will be a good sign having the Republicans in the House so it can, bring little balance to the political stream.
Yeah, and also the House is easier for Republicans to win compared to the Senate because if Republicans are trying to win the Senate, it's not gonna be an easy run to win Senate. Let's see.
Yeah.
You got to keep Pennsylvania. You got to keep North Carolina. You got to keep Ohio. You got to flip
Georgia.
Arizona. You also got to keep Wisconsin. Wisconsin's gonna be a close election. Flip New Hampshire possibly with Chris Sununu if he runs.
Yeah.
That's way too much to think about compared to the House where they only need a few seats.
Mm-hmm.
Easy win for the Republicans in the House, So I think it would be better for Republicans to just focus all their fundraising on the House. I'm not saying don't try for Senate, but push more towards the House because that's something that you can actually win,
Mm-hmm.
Ethan?
I think the fact that they're receiving this large of donations, like they're receiving this much money, I think it just goes to show how much support that the Republican Party has gained in these past 2 years. I mean, the fact that they are gaining a lot of money compared to the Democratic Party, that's kind of, I mean, it's not shocking, but it's kind of funny. I mean, it just goes to show that no party is in power for the entire time. It shows that every party will have its time to fall and time to rise. And I think the Democratic Party is going to have its time to fall. I think the Republicans are going to get their turn with a House majority.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Austin, what do you have to say?
Um, I agree a lot with what Ethan said. You know, they don't want one party controlling it. Well, no, that Joel or
That
Ethan
was what
said it.
Joel
I don't
said.
know who said it,
That was what
but
Joel said.
what Joel said then. They don't want one party controlling the whole government. They want, to be mismatched. Because neither party is better than the other in a way. That's really up to people's opinions, and I guess right now they're on the Republican high. I guess.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It will definitely be fun to watch. See
Mhm.
what happens from now to November of 2022. I mean, just think about this. There's a few House races going on right now, like on July 27th, 10 days from now. There's an election that's going to be held in Texas. I forget which congressional district is it. It's I don't know. It's a single dish. It's a single digit number. But whatever. It's between Jack Elzy and Susan Wright. They're both Republicans. That's another seat that Republicans, well, they're not going to gain, but they're going to get another voting representative in Congress. There's 2 seats up for grabs this year in Ohio. The primaries are on August 3rd, I think. One's a very safe Democrat state, and one's a lean Republican state. And, the power between just one seat, because it's so close that with these elections coming up, it can change what happens between the next year with voting and stuff. You get a Republican seat in Ohio, you get a Democrat in Ohio, and you get a Republican in Texas. It's going to be a close election, and it'll be fun to see what happens in 2022, see what flips. And yeah. Simon, what do you have to say?
10 million of that funding for Republicans was from McCarthy and the whip.
The funding came from people too, who donated to campaigns as well. And
so that's 10 million out of how much? Like 40 million?
It's a lot of money.
I mean, that's still 30 million from a whole bunch of other people.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And it's
Compared to
great
the
news if you're a
Democrats.
Republican. If you're a Republican, you're celebrating, you're singing, oh my goodness, we can finally, have something, because right now with a Democrat House, a Democrat Senate, and a Democrat
presidency,
it's going to be Republicans just want something, and I mean, at least for the Republicans, things haven't been that bad. They're close. They have a chance in the House, and maybe a chance at the Senate. I'm not saying they have a good chance, but it's a long shot, but it's possible.
Isn't next year supposed to be a red wave year?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are predicting. That's
most likely, yes. But there's just so much work for Republicans to do that it's going to be a little bit difficult, As I mentioned earlier, there's so much states that you need to flip, and there's also so much states that you need to keep too, like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Wisconsin. Those are going to be really close seats, and it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, we'll definitely make predictions on that throughout the year from time to time.
Yeah, I think the red wave thing is like in 2018 when Democrats thought they're going to have a blue wave. I mean, Republicans got to make sure they don't shoot their hopes too high and really fight for what they want to get.
Recently, some good news happened if you're a bipartisan or if you believe in both parties agreeing on something or another. Former Senator Jeff Flake, who was a Republican senator from Arizona, was chosen by Joe Biden to be the ambassador to Turkey. What do you have to say about this?
I'm glad to hear that. Really,
Anyone else?
I guess I'll go first. I guess that shows how the Biden administration wants to be bipartisan. Because you know how whenever he got elected, he made this whole spiel on being like a bipartisan presidency. What is what is it? I think he used presidency for the people or something.
Mm-hmm.
Zane, you should also note that Jeff Flake was the senator who called out Trump multiple times
Yeah, he
and
did.
disagreed with Trump quite a bit, but somehow voted for a lot of Trump's policies. Actually, 84% of the time he voted to agree with Trump. However, he called him out almost every time he spoke, which was kind of funny.
Well, what I think is he just didn't like Trump's etiquette. He liked what he believed in more than, like Trump's personality and so forth.
I'm kind of happy to see Jeff Flake going to Turkey though, because we don't have the best relationship with Turkey, so he's got a big job ahead of him. I mean, he's going to have to try and repair our relations, which, looking at some of his other accomplishments, I think he can definitely do. I think he's probably the right guy for it. I mean, it is good to see that Joe Biden chose someone who is definitely going to be the right guy and definitely going to repair our relationship with Turkey. I mean, I think this is a win-win for both parties. I mean, it's just going to get us a better relationship with Turkey. I mean, that's the end goal.
Yeah, Simon, what do you have to say?
Trump would have never done that.
I'm honestly glad to see it. I'm glad to see that Joe Biden is following through with being a president for the people, bringing someone else from the other party is something great. And we'll see if he does a good job, maybe Turkey and America will be best buddies again, Yeah, so let's talk about our final topic, which is about Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. He is one of the 3 liberals on the court, and he announced that he hasn't decided when he is going to retire, even though people are constantly telling him to retire, so that with a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate, not a Democrat House, sorry, just a Democrat Senate, so that they could get a new Supreme Court justice into the court that's young, that won't die before the Republicans take back over the Senate. What do you guys think?
I really don't have a problem with it. I mean, you're elected to the Supreme Court until you die, or if you decide to retire yourself. So it's up to him when he wants to retire, and if he wants to stay on there until he dies, I mean, it's his choice. I mean, they put him on there, and he gets to decide when he comes off. I don't think he should be bullied into stepping down. And I mean, that just kind of goes to show the fear that the Democrats are having. I mean, they're obviously fearing that they might lose the Senate, and that's why they want to put someone new in there, is so that they can't have it just be. They can't have their new person be rejected when the Senate possibly becomes Republican. Although I honestly don't think they're going to lose the Senate, so I think they're worrying over nothing. But it just kind of shows that the Democrats are a little scared. And that's it.
Well, just for the safety, he should retire. And the only reason you want him to stand there until he dies is because you want to conserve.
You
I really
cut
don't care
off.
for them being the conservative. I'd actually rather have another liberal. That way the court is at least semi-balanced.
Yeah.
I really do not care to have the court stacked. That just is unfair. All
right. Anyone else got something to say?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, it's his choice. We did put him on there. He can just choose whether or not he wants to retire and when he wants to. I don't think, like you said, to bully him off the court or because we want someone else and we're fearful of someone else, a conservative taking his spot. I don't think that. And I think kind of what Simon said was uncalled for.
He's under a lot of pressure. He's not necessarily the youngest guy either. And, with all of this, it could actually cause him to die faster, Like with all this stress going on, with all like this pressure on him to just stop so that Democrat, maybe they're just trying to kill him. Maybe.
But they didn't urge Ruth Bader Ginsburg to retire.
Well, that was because there was a Republican Senate then. Now they have a Democrat Senate, and they want to have a young liberal dude or girl in the Supreme Court.
No, but
And-
even if they don't have a Democratic Senate, it's still the president who appoints the Supreme Court justice, and right now we have a Democratic president. So I don't understand why they would be worried about a conservative somehow getting in there when with Joe Biden as president, there's never going to be a conservative nominated. So I don't know why they would have the fear
I
of
think
that.
they're worried of a repeat of what happened to Doug Garland.
Yeah.
And now Attorney General Garland.
With Republicans having the Senate. Because if, let's say, the Republicans somehow win the Senate election in 2022, they get the Senate back. Mitch McConnell's the Senate Majority Leader, and Joe Biden and Stephen Breyer dies. He drops down of a stroke or whatever. Joe Biden brings up this dude who's maybe not that radical as AOC would have liked, but he's also, not necessarily the most bipartisan dude you'd ever see either. Even if he was a bipartisan dude, Mitch McConnell would still probably most likely say no. And even if he were to say yes to give him a time on the Senate Judiciary Committee, most likely, if the Republicans had the Senate, he wouldn't be voted in to become a justice. So they would like to just get this done over with now. Stephen Breyer just said no with a heart because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
My guy's like, what, 82?
Yeah, he's
84?
exactly 82. Just let him live his life.
Yeah, he's 82.
And he has one of the hardest jobs. I mean, you could foresee. I mean, the Supreme Court, it's not really an easy job. So Democrats at this point only hope that he can die, which, isn't a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
Or they could just hope that they win in 2022. He dies sometime between 2022, 2024. They get a new guy in. There you go. Mission complete. So if anyone else has nothing to say, is that it? Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. It was very fun this episode. There were a ton of problems when it came to Wi-Fi, hearing people. So it's gonna be hard to edit, but it'll be out on Sunday, hopefully. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining me, Joel, Ethan, Simon, and Austin. And we'll see you next time.